so here we are, sat in the cockpit at Brussels South, and the first thing we're going to do is bring up the CDU for FSCaptain. In this corner here we have the white knob for the power button, which we're going to turn on. Power on. At the moment we're sat 30 minutes before the flight's due to depart, so easy from there. And we're going to log in, which is now going to select, let's see, our flight 8 to Manchester, scheduled to depart 11:04 local time in the morning. So we're going to click the manifest, and it's going to let us know that we have 88 passengers on board. We have £3,020 of baggage. We have 2 boxes of mail, £1,360, 3 crates of mail at £1,860, and 4 boxes of documents totaling £2,700. That's the manifest we've got there. So we're going to go back now and proceed into the flight. Okay, so here obviously tells us 15th of November, and we're at 9:30 Zulu, which is actually 11:30 local, as we spoke about now. So departure obviously set for 10:30 local, but the departure is set for 11:04 today. Distance is 303 with a total payload and the fuel, which we all check up as we already know, and obviously en route time is 1 hour 17, which checks out as well. So these all check up. We've got the next page here, which is basically going to tell us on here that the service that we've got is a snack service, so a quick snack for the passengers as we go around. We're happy with everything here, all matches. So just look across on here. We're going to check the weather for departure. Weather for Brussels South. I'm clicking on here to request the weather. So it's basically very calm, no winds. There has been moderate turbulence reported by the other pilots at 900 feet, so take that in consideration as we depart out of Brussels. Just in case, a bit bumpy on the way through, but we should be beyond that pretty quick. And the weather for into Manchester doesn't seem to want to show at the moment, but we'll check that on the way on the route through. So we've got the correct flight, so Brussels to Manchester, alternative Doncaster if needs be. So we're going to proceed now into the flight, and just go back to here. That's the previous page, here we go. And we're going to go normal load. Okay.
I'll handle the smoking and seatbelt signs, so you don't have to worry about them.
There we go. You can see now the passengers are starting to arrive onto the aircraft, and the fuel and everything's being loaded. If you do, there is a normal load where it's all handled automatically. The other one is where you have to handle it manually. A bit of a pain. Obviously, normal load just does it all for you. Dead straightforward. So at this point now, we're just literally going to wait for the passengers to load, and then we'll be done. Okay, so at this point now, everything
Captain, the cabin is secure. All
all been
passengers
loaded.
are aboard.
We're pretty much ready to proceed now. Obviously, you can see we are very early for the departure. But we have taxi time to take into consideration like that. But we're going to proceed at this point. Okay, and basically we're going to use the pushback feature
The aircraft is cleared to go.
on here.
The door is locked and secured.
So we're now going to select pushback. It's going to give you these options here. Now we only want a short pushback. I'm experimenting at this point to give you an idea because it is a really short distance back. So we're going to use 10. See what happens. We want the tail to go right at 90 degrees. So at this point we're going to basically push back and hit start.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of your captain and crew, welcome aboard. We hope you will enjoy the flight.
Brown from cockpit.
Go ahead.
We're ready for pushback.
Okay, steering pin inserted, release brakes.
Brakes free.
Okay, pushing back. All engines clear for startup.
Okay. So at this point now, we can, if we hit comms, the comms section comes up, and we can make an announcement to the passengers as a welcome one.
This is your first officer speaking. From up in the cockpit, we'd like to welcome everyone on board for our flight. Not anticipating any problems and expect to be arriving on time, but if something comes up, we'll let you know about it. For now, please carefully follow all instructions from your cabin crew, and let's all look forward to a smooth ride. We should be ready for takeoff soon.
And there's that. So now we're going to push, or we're going to taxi I should say, down to the runway and depart from there. Okay, as we approach now for departure, you will see on the actual flight menu here, as we approach the runway, gives you your VR speeds. Rotate speed today is 131 knots for departure. What we'll do now is we're going to comms ever so quickly, and we'll make the takeoff alert.
We're cleared for takeoff.
No problem.
Let's see if we can do this with the keyboard.
$80 knots.
Check.
V1, rotate. V2.
Almost. Still the mouse here, man.
Positive rate.
Gear up.
Check the airspeed.
Bring the speed back because it's bumpy as expected.
Check the flaps.
Alright. I'm all set for today at climb speed, climb altitude of 3. 10. Okay, so I'm going to let it climb out now to the cruise, and then we'll get back to you from there and talk about a bit more about the CD. Okay, so you're going to join us now. We've reached our cruise level, flight level 310, and we've actually already serviced the passengers now, all 88 of them, so they're all on the snack. And click on the progress side here, which you can see now we have a remaining of 202 nautical miles to go. The fuel range is 453 nautical miles, so we have enough down to make it there and then some. There's no turbulence at the moment. ETE 50 minutes, so we're on time. You will see that change colours at certain stages. If it's green, you're on time. If it turns white, you're actually within the arrival window, and if it turns red, you're late, and you don't want to see it go red. So we can click the weather at the moment. Destination weather for Manchester is slightly windy. There's a few clouds scattered at 1,700 feet QNH 1025, but it's not too bad along there. What we can also do, or we should do, I should say at this point now, reached our top of the climb, is report back to dispatch they've actually reached our top of the climb. So they've got that. And then from now on, every 30 minutes during the cruise, we should run a positional report here. And then, as you can see, once you start descending, reach out the top of descent, again we'll report that to dispatch so they know where we are with our flight. We can make requests as well to them. So see, we can possible divert, possible delay, early approach clearance if we've ahead of time, what gates are going to be at Manchester when we arrive, runways, and if you want the 250 knot speed limit removed. This here, we're going to request the runways at Manchester, so we'll select it, and then we're going to wait now for it to come back and ping through, which we'll hear with a chime in a second once dispatch lets us know. So in terms of the product, it's a fantastic product to be fair. It brings a whole new immersion to Flight Simulator and a whole career to it, which is really good. As you will have heard them, the chime came through, and you'll see a message down on the FMC here. So we're going to click messages, and here obviously dated today, it's 10:07 Zulu, it's the one that just came through now. There's a message from dispatch, is at Manchester braking reported good on all runways, and they'll update us within 7 minutes. So we get an update on the runway within 7 minutes time if anything changes, and it's the same throughout. I requested that, but your dispatch will also ping through messages of importance to you at any point with the weather, and if the weather becomes ridiculously below minimums, they'll tell you to divert, things like that. So really cracking product that simulates the role of a captain, basically. You can report emergencies of whatever you got, and I will show you a video in a second that's been filmed by a guy on YouTube called Steady Flyer of a bird strike. So what I'll do is I'll let the video there of his video he's kind of let me use run through so you can see an example of what the bird strike sounds like, things like that, and then we'll go over the conclusion now to the product.
United 5, good day. Mayday, mayday, mayday. United 5, distress. Cannot make final
Okay, so we come to the conclusion of the review for FSCaptain. And we're going to talk about the good points first of all. The first point we got here is fantastic manuals. You've already seen the folder that has a set of manuals in. Obviously, the main user manual is a big manual to go through, but well worth doing, and it gives you a true sense of the packed features of the product. But also, if you want to jump in a deep end really quick, definitely follow the tutorial, as you'll get a fair and basic understanding of how the CDU works to use a product correctly. Next bit, we've got the sound sets. The sound sets themselves really well made. Even the default ones, the FO put some witty comments in there, and you may have actually heard one about the airspeed and the flap settings, or the flaps should have retracted. But also heavy landings, things like that, it'll always be there and critiquing you. The next one that I really like is the effects of hazardous weather. So basically it makes thunderstorms and icing conditions very dangerous, and also the runways and the taxiways become slick when frozen. So really neat little idea there that they've got going. One other thing I like, the different times. So many of us fly during the day, or at night, or whatever real time they run. But obviously with this, they are scheduled flights. You fly them when you get into the cockpit half an hour, 10 minutes before the flight's due to depart. So some flights could be 3 in the morning, some could be 10 at night, or you could be flying sunset, sunrise. So really neat there that you can actually experience different parts of the world from different times. And lastly, obviously, you really feel like an airline pilot, and you really feel like a captain. All the other food and services handled by your cabin crews, it should be in real life, and you handle everything else around you, and it gives you that real sense there. Really neat product if you want to fly to different places and get a real feel for as an airline pilot and follow a career within a flight simulator. So the bad parts, it almost feels like I'm nitpicking, because I really like the product, but nothing is ever perfect. So the first thing is the ability to sort in the admin panel. And by this, I basically mean when you generate your flights, they come almost looks like gobbledygook. And what would be a neat feature is that you can sort by the column, for example, of the flight time, and you could ascend, descend, say start from the shortest flight and go through. So if you're in a rush, you can find the shortest flight rather than scrolling up and down, or sort by the actual route distance rather than the flight number itself. So that would be a neat little feature, and I know the support for this is really decent, so for passing on, you may well see it in a future update. Save in flight, the ability to save in flight wherever you are without affecting your grade. And I believe though this is now being put into one of the new updates. So the next few weeks you may well see this as a feature to save in flight. And lastly, battery life problem. It's not the fault of the product, it's the fault of Flight Simulator that the battery dies really quickly on the default aircraft. And by the time the passengers have loaded, and if you get to the pushback, you'll find your battery's died, and then you're all screwed up, you don't know what to do. There is a way around this within FSX if you Google it, and also there's a module by the Peter Dawson module can solve this, but you have to buy the thing and register it, and not everyone will want to do that. So a neat thing they could maybe put in there is if they code it to not have to worry about the battery, since they know it was a known fault, so code that the battery life is not an issue within there, if it's possible. I don't know, but that's just something. It's almost a bad point, but it's out of their hand. It's not really the developer's fault in that it's an FSX coding issue. So overall, it's a fantastic product. Basically, it does bring a true meaning to fly within this flight simulator. A reason why, not just going from A to B because you want to, you actually become more realistic. You become that airline pilot and build that airline career. Price wise, 35-64 euros. It's a good price. It's priced in a great area around other products that are in its range, and I think this is probably the best one out of them all. Obviously, I'm not naming the others. The availability is actually, if you go to FSCaptain.net, you will find it there. They do offer a demo, no restriction demo, or a full demo of it, but you can only use it from 3 airports in the Pacific Northwest of the US. But you should have no excuses really to go and use it. It's a demo, it's free. Use it at those airports, get a feel for it, and if you obviously want to fly in other parts of the world, it's well worth buying. It's a fantastic product. So I hope you enjoyed this review of FS Captain. My name is Rob Miller from FlightSimToday.com, and thank you for watching.